guys, today in this video I'm going to be doing my recap and reaction of the Pretty Little Liars spring finale, and can I just say, that episode was so freaking good, and it is about time because Pretty Little Liars has been lagging the past few weeks. They've just been confusing the crap out of us, not giving us any answers, and last night we finally got some answers. Actually, we got a lot of answers, but of course it is Pretty Little Liars and they had to leave us hanging, and of course we still have no freaking clue who A is. Literally, I feel like it's gonna drag on for the next 10 years and they're gonna tell us who A is. But hey, you know what? As soon as they reveal who A actually is, the show's over. So, you know what? They gotta drag it out as long as humanly possible. So as I've said in all my previous Pretty Little Liars videos, if you guys don't want any spoilers and you aren't caught up with all the new episodes, go ahead and click off this video if you don't want any spoilers, because I am going to be giving all kinds of spoilers, and I'm also going to be giving my theories on what I think is going on. So let's just go ahead and get into the spring finale. The episode starts off with Noel Kahn. Where the crap has Noel Kahn been? Seriously, the boy just disappeared. He hasn't been around in any episodes whatsoever, and then all of a sudden, boom, Noel Kahn's back and he's taking the girls to meet Allie. So Noel Kahn has been working with Allie. Who knows where the heck that came from. So Allie walks in and she gives all the girls hugs and she tells them that it's taken her a long time to figure out how she's going to tell them about what happened the night that she disappeared, and she tells the girls that she needs their help, and by the end of this night they either need to figure out who A is or Allie needs to disappear for good and not come back to Rosewood. So then it flashes to the police station. This whole episode took place at the police station and also going back through Allie's memories of what happened that night and telling all the girls these things. So flashing to the police station, it shows the sexy detective guy. I can't think of what the sexy detective guy's name is off the top of my head, but he's fine, that's all I do know. It shows him interviewing Cece Drake. All of a sudden, Cece Drake pops up and she's back again. Of course, she just randomly pops up. We have no idea what's going on. But it shows him interrogating Cece, and he's trying to get her to admit to killing Detective Wilden. And Cece ends up saying that she knows that Allison's still alive, and also that Cece knows who killed the girl that is supposedly in Allison's grave. So that's all we hear from Cece in this whole episode. Then it flashes back to Allie, starting off her story, telling the girls that everything started back when she was in Hilton Head with Ian, and she was in this room with Ian, and Melissa storms in, and she's just like, Ian, I know you're here with Allison, and blah 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 blah, and they're having this little couples tiff, and Allison's in the other room listening to it, and as she's listening to it, she starts to get all her stuff together, and she sees Ian's laptop sitting on a counter, and she goes over to the laptop, and this is where she discovers all the videos that Ian had in the first 2 seasons. Everything was all about these videos of the girls and the NAT club and all that fun stuff. So she discovers these videos, she puts them on a flash drive, and she darts out the door. And Allie starts talking about how she went through each individual person leading up to the night that she disappeared, trying to figure out who A was and who was sending her all of these harassing text messages. So Allie's first thought of who A was Jenna. So Allison says that when she's walking out and leaving Jenna, she gets a text and it says, "Bitch can't see you, but I do. Tonight's the night I kill you." So she tells the girls the second she got that text, she crossed Jenna off her A list and knew that Jenna wasn't A. And Allison starts to tell the girls everything about the night that she disappeared and someone tried to kill her. So then it shows Allison talking to her mom, and her mom is telling her she can't go out for the night and she needs to stay inside, and the whole time Allison's mom is on the phone with somebody and freaking out like, send somebody here now and blah 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 blah. So her mother's freaking out about something. So while Allison's mom is on the phone, Allie goes into her mother's purse and steals some sleeping pills from her, and then of course she sneaks out, and Allie goes out to the barn, and it shows the scene from the first episode of Pretty Little Liars, the opening scene of the whole show with all of them in the barn, and they're all laughing and drinking and blah 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 blah. Then it shows that Allison actually put the sleeping pills into the girls' drinks, so she drugged her friends, because you know that's just the cool thing to do. So she tells the girls that she gave them the sleeping pills because at the time she wasn't sure who A was, and in this night she wanted to figure out once and for all who A was, and the only way she could do that is to rule out every single person, including all 4 of her friends. So she gave them the sleeping pills to make them sleep, and if she never got a text, then she assumed that A was one of the girls, and that's that. So the first person Allison ends up seeing that night is Toby, but she really doesn't go into much detail what happened with Toby. We don't actually see Toby in this episode at all, but it just says she walks out the door and she says Toby, and moving on, that part's boring. So then it shows Allison getting into a car with Ezra. So it turns out Allie saw Ezra on the night that she disappeared, which I still can't even get over this whole Ezra and Allie relationship to begin with. but okay. He is basically just confronting her about how she lied about her age and how he really did like her and how he doesn't want her to get hurt and all that fun stuff. So Allie gets out of the car. It's not really that big of a deal, her conversation with Ezra. Before she gets into the car, we see her texting Ian and it says, "Meet me at the Kissing Rock." So when she gets out of the car with Ezra, she's off to the next person on her list, and that is to confront Ian. So when she's at the Kissing Rock with Ian, Allie basically just tells him that he needs to stop harassing her because at this point, she's now thinking that him and Melissa could be A. So she says that they need to stop sending her texts, or she's going to let all these videos out that he's taken. And Ian gets so freaked out, and he just freaks out on Allison, and he walks away, and that is her confrontation with Ian. So then Allie starts to talk about what happened with Spencer that night, and in the previous episodes we've seen that Spencer is coming off of her drug addiction and that she's starting to get these hallucinations of her with a shovel and smacking Allie with the shovel and blood all over her face and all this stupid crap. So Allie starts to tell Spencer what actually happened the night between the two of them. Obviously the sleeping medication Allie used on the rest of the girls clearly didn't work on Spencer because she's all hopped up on speed. So Spencer ends up waking up and Allie walks into the barn and they have this confrontation. Apparently that night they were having a fight about Melissa and Ian and how Ian kissed Spencer and all that fun stuff from season 1. So Spencer was confronting Allison about that and telling her that she needs to not say anything to Melissa and freaking out on her. And so in the middle of that fight, Spencer picks up the shovel and she starts running towards Allison with it. And she ends up tripping and her pills fall on the ground. Allison reaches down, picks up her pills, and she confronts her about Spencer's pill addiction, and Spencer is begging her not to tell anybody about the pills and not to tell her parents, and Allie's telling her that Spencer needs to not drink and not take the pills, and blah 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 blah. So then she tells Spencer to just go ahead and go sleep it off, and she promises she won't say anything because she's her friend and she wants to protect her. So then it just shows Spencer walking away carrying the shovel, so obviously Spencer is not the one who hit Allison upside the head, which let's get real, we all knew that she wasn't the one who hit her upside the head because they were making it look so much like she was the one that hit her upside the head, and we know whenever they make somebody look that guilty, they ain't really guilty because that's how Pretty Little Liars works. Then it flashes back to Allie talking to the girls, and she's finally to the point in her story where she gets attacked. It shows Allie leaving the barn and leaving Spencer and all the girls sound asleep, and Allie's walking up a path to her house, and she sees her mother staring at her through the window, and her mother just gets this look on her face like, no! And there's somebody behind Allie and they hit her upside the head with a rock, and then it flashes back to Allie talking to the girls and they're all just like got tears in their eyes and they're crying, and Allie becomes hysterical and she's telling the girls that her mother ended up burying her alive. This scene with Allie in the grave and her mother just shoveling dirt on top of her, I literally was like this. I was like, oh my god, it literally gave me chills watching that. And it actually shows Allie in the grave like opening her eyes and like looking at her mother. So it's almost like her mother knew that she was still alive and that she was burying her own daughter alive, which is the most twisted thing I have ever heard. But I don't freaking know. So then Allie tells the girls that Miss Grunwald, or Heebie-Jeebie Creepy Lady, is actually the person who really did pull her out of the ground, and she wasn't lying about that. That did really happen. But as she was taking her to the hospital, Allie freaked out and just ran away from her. So then it flashes to Allie walking on a road just covered in dirt with a bloody head, just looking absolutely terrified. And who pulls up beside her? Mona. What? So Mona ends up taking Allison to the Lost Woods Resort and she ends up taking care of her. So then Mona says, why don't you just let A believe that you're really dead so then you'll be safe. You need to disappear and not come back here. And then it shows Allison laying in bed and Mona just sitting there playing with her hair and kissing her forehead. Again, creepy to no end. And then it shows Allison asleep in the bed and then it pans over and we hear Mona doing her creepy thing where she sings to herself. Oh my god, I can't stand it. It creeps me out so bad. And it shows Mona chilling in the A lair with all Allison's pictures and all this stuff, brushing a little blonde doll's hair and putting it in a little dollhouse and singing to it and being just creepy and ugh! So apparently at this point it almost already looked like Mona was on the A-team even back then. So this was all Mona's plan to get Allie the night she was attacked and tell her to take off. So Allie ends up putting on the brown wig and telling Mona, thank you so much, you saved my life. Mona gives her her car and it shows Allie driving away from Mona, and Allie says that Mona completely played her that night and got exactly what she wanted for Allison to leave town. Allie tells the girls that she stayed hidden until the day that Mona hit Hannah with the car, and she said when that happened, she was just so terrified that Hannah was gonna die that she had to come out of hiding and make sure that Hannah was okay. And ever since then, she has stayed around and protected the girls in any way that she could. She revealed that she was the one who pushed Ian off the bell tower, and then she also says that she is the one who was at the fire and pulled Hannah out of the fire, but she's not sure who pulled the rest of the girls out. And it flashes back to the police station, and the police are saying that they finally tracked where the girls are. They tracked their phones, they tracked Spencer's car, and they were heading off to find them. So then it flashes back to the girls, and the girls start hearing someone outside, then they hear a tapping on the glass window. At first the girls think that it's Noel. They start saying Noel's name, and then all of a sudden the glass shatters. You see A standing there completely covered in black, face covered, typical A outfit, standing there with a gun shooting at the girls. The girls just start screaming and freaking out, and the girls are running away from A. A is shooting at them this whole time, and they finally make it to the rooftop. When they get to the rooftop, they realize there is no way out, there is no fire escape, and the building across the street from them is so far away there's no way they can jump. So then the girls are all just standing there completely terrified, and through a little side door, who pops up? It's none other than Ezra. Of course, he is there to try and save the day. And can I just say, I knew Ezra wasn't A, I knew he wasn't bad, and I knew he loved frickin' Arya and he would do anything to save her because true love always prevails in the end. I frickin' knew he wasn't bad. I just had to throw that in there because when I saw him there to save all the girls, I was like, yes, I knew he wasn't bad. Okay, anyway, getting on to the rest of what happened on the rooftop. Oh, God. Okay, so Ezra shows up, and he sees A standing there pointing the gun at the girls, and he jumps in and tries to save them, and he starts screaming at this A person. He's like, I know who you are, and the cops are on their way right now. And then Ezra jumps in front of the girls, and he's starting to try and knock the gun out of A's hand, and A this whole time is shooting at everybody, and Ezra ends up knocking the gun out of A's hand. Hannah runs over, picks up the gun, points it at A, and the girls all just start screaming, take off your mask, take it off! And of course, what does A do? Starts to take the mask off and just hops over to the other building. Just hops over 15 flights, jumps out, and all the girls are like, no! And somehow A is like superhuman and can jump like over a 3-story building and hop over. And you see A slowly pulling themselves up onto the building, looking back at the girls, and they're all just like, no! And A scurries away. Why didn't they shoot A when they had the chance? I don't understand this. They had the gun, they were pointing at A, they could have shot him, but did they? No, they let A get away. And of course A got away because we weren't going to find out who A is, because the second we find out who A is, the show is over. So we knew they were going to leave us hanging, and we weren't going to see the mask get taken off. We just freaking knew it. Then after A gets away, it just shows Arya walking over to Ezra, and Ezra just has this blank look on his face, and he's staring at all the lights over the building, and he's just like, it's so beautiful. And then Arya just looks at him and is like, Ezra? And then Ezra slowly turns around and you see his chest bleeding because he's been shot by A. He falls into Arya's arms and Arya starts hysterically crying and screaming, and she's like, Ezra, Ezra, no, no, don't you dare close your eyes. Oh my god, when she said don't you dare close your eyes, I literally instantly just had tears rolling down my face. So all the girls run over and they're huddled around Ezra and they're all screaming, oh my god, somebody call 911, somebody call 911, Ezra, Ezra! And Arya's screaming and crying and he closes his eyes and they lead us to think that Ezra is now dead. Seriously? A few weeks ago they were making us think he's A and trying to make us all hate him, and now they're making him the hero and they're killing him. What is up with this show? This show is literally trying to give me a stroke, is what I honestly think it's trying to do. Give me a damn stroke. After we see all the girls huddled around Ezra and his supposed dead body, it flashes to the end and it shows Allie's mom's dead body getting dragged across the floor, being put into a grave, and somebody throwing dirt on top of Allie's mom's body. And that's how this episode ends. So Allie's mom, I think it's safe to say she's definitely dead because we saw her looking pretty much dead and a corpse being put into the ground with dirt being thrown on it. And with Pretty Little Liars, all I can say, unless you see the actual dead body chilling inside a grave, the person is not dead. It's just, they're just not dead. So I really don't think Ezra is dead. They're not going to kill Ezra off. There's absolutely no way in hell they're going to kill Ezra off. They're just trying to drive us all crazy and make us think that he's dead just to make us all cry and sad and meh. So now on to my theories of what I think is coming up in the new future episodes of Pretty Little Liars. I'm gonna go ahead and say Ezra is going to still be alive, and I think they're gonna make some twist with Ezra, like he ended up getting shot and like losing his memory or something, because he said when he ran in to save the girls, when he was screaming at A, he was saying, "I know who you are." So I'm thinking maybe they're going to make Ezra injured and make him lose his memory, and that he's not going to remember who A is. With Allie's mom and who Allie's mom is protecting, there's still the twin theory. We don't know who exactly has a twin, but the way that they're kind of making it sound and the way that it came across in this episode is that maybe the person who hit Allie upside the head was Allie's twin, and Allie's mom saw Allie's twin hit her upside the head, and that's why she was so conflicted and upset because her other daughter whacked her upside the head. So maybe Allie's mom is protecting Allie's twin. There could be that theory. And also, there is the theory that the person who is actually dead in Allie's grave could be Allie's twin. Then also another theory going along with the twin theory and who Allie's mom could be protecting is that maybe it also could be Jason, who was the one that Allie's mom's protecting, and maybe Jason's the one who whacked Allie upside the head with the rock. And Allison's mom was trying to protect him because he's her son, and maybe this whole time Jason's been A. I really hope that's not the case, because Jason is just too pretty to be A. He's just so sexy, I can't even stand it, so he can't be A. I would love to hear what your guys' theories are on what you think is going on and who could possibly have hit Allison, or who Allison's mom was protecting, who the crap A is, who's in that freaking grave. There are just so many things I would just love to hear what you guys are thinking and your theories on. So if you want to go ahead and leave your theories, thoughts, comments, anything in the comments below, I would love to hear what you guys are thinking and if you guys are loving what is going on. And I would also like to know if any of the rest of you out there cried like a little baby when you saw Ezra get shot and Arya say, "Don't you dare close your eyes," because I freaking lost it at that line and I was crying like a little baby. I felt so freaking pathetic. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this Pretty Little Liars recap. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you want to see me do more Pretty Little Liars recaps in the future, and also make sure to subscribe to my channel if you aren't already subscribed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!